Hello and welcome to Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, the premier flagship and international podcast, de LM Online. I'm your host, Brandon Jones, and this week in the booth, I guess maybe for at least a little bit, we've got Danny and Nick. Gents, what's going on?
Heyo, good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Wait, were you back last week?
No.
Okay.
No.
Last week was a lot. You dropped out last.
You
You
guys
were
talked
gonna be
stab.
back, and then you weren't back last week because
Yeah. Danny, did you miss me as well?
Yes, sir. I
That's the
missed you.
question. Yeah.
I missed you.
so
Yes.
having to deal with me.
Yeah.
So on this week's show, in addition to missing folks, Jammer, he may or may not be here. We don't know. But until then, we're going to be talking about Moonfall today. But before that, we've got some news. You guys ready to get to the news?
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with probably the longest story on here. And I think maybe of the things on here, it might be the one that gets Nick the most excited. Now, we've got Star Trek on top of Star Trek on top of Star Trek.
100 years of Star Trek, Morty. 100 years.
You know what's funny? I no kidding have that in my notes. Like I have the quote from that episode, and it says, my notes say, reminds me of, and together we're going to run around, Morty, and we're going to do all kinds of wonderful things, Morty. Just you and me, Morty. Like I've got the whole quote there.
Oh, I'm sorry for spoiling it with my
No, you didn't spoil it. I wasn't going to say it, but I was just like, yeah, that's what this is. It's 100 years of Star Trek. So if you like Star Trek, it's 100 years of Star Trek. So we've got Star Trek Prodigy going off right now. It just concluded its first season. If you like Star Trek and you would like to share that with your kids, I think it's a good entry point to watch with your kids. Manny from the site agrees as well. And so that first season just wrapped, and it's pretty entertaining. It's fun. In
Does
addition
that
to
mean
that,
Discovery's back this week?
I was
for
about to
next
say.
week?
So in addition to that, we've got, you gotta wait, man. I like set it up, roll it out,
eager.
slow burn.
Eager.
On the 10th, we've got Star Trek Discovery coming back for the remainder of its season. So we're gonna get to see how the rest of that ends. On top of that, we got news this week that not only are they still working on the Section 31 show with Michelle Yeoh, we are also getting the Starfleet Academy show. And so both of these things are coming out. There is no date for either one yet, but what they're saying right now in the article that I saw, and this is from StarTrekMovie.com, is that we shouldn't expect to see anything from either of these shows until like 2024, 2025. So, oh, and I also forgot to mention that this year we're also getting Strange New Worlds. So like Paramount, just like Disney is building out there, like, hey, we've got an Ahsoka show, we've got an Obi-Wan show, we've got a Boba Fett show, like we got your Star Wars show. Paramount is doing the same with their IP and just building out a huge selection of stuff for you to watch. Danny, I know you're more of a Star Wars guy than a Star Trek fan, so let's start with Nick.
I'm super stoked. I couldn't believe they announced that many new shows. You missed that. They've already started production on Strange New World season 2, even though we haven't seen a trailer for season 1 yet. And of course, Lower Decks is going to help round out the year.
Yeah.
Didn't they say they'll have a new episode through the end of the year?
I don't remember if they said that, but I mean, it seems like based on this lineup, yeah, it's probably
Because if that's
true.
the case, I still think we'll run out by the end of the summer, unless they have
So let's
Discovery
see.
season 5 or 4, and then the Strange New World season 2, which is in production.
What have we got? Like 10 to 12 episodes per show, and we've got Picard, Lower Decks, Strange New Worlds, Discovery finishing up, Prodigy. I mean, they could do it so that 52 weeks in a year. They could do it.
But I remember them like listing when the exact air dates, some of the exact episodes. And like it only goes through the summer, what they have. And then that includes Lower Decks, or like, and Lower Decks will be the like late summer or whatever.
Yeah.
So I wonder if I have Discovery, they make it a pretty rapid pace now. And the fact that they already started Strange New World season 2, second season should take less time than the first season because they have all their pre-production figured out. Yeah, I'm super excited. We're starting a Star Trek podcast.
I mean, theoretically, they probably already had all that pre-production done, right? Because you saw the Enterprise in that second season of Discovery. So like they've been ready.
Yeah. So I wonder like, wow, I mean, it doesn't matter. It just seems to have taken them a long time, which maybe is a good thing.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I'm just excited about all of it. I'm gonna watch all the Trek. I still need to watch Prodigy. Did Manny recommend it for people who don't have kids? Didn't he say something like that too? Like I should watch it regardless, or what's your opinion?
I don't think he said that. I think he said if you have kids. That is what I
Okay.
recall. If he said something after that, then I missed it. I enjoyed it for what I think what I said was I enjoyed it for what it was. So even if I didn't have kids, I probably would not have given it a shot. But because I did, I have now watched episodes without them because I want to know what's going to happen.
Wow.
So that's kind of
I probably should give it a shot. I watched the stupid Jurassic World for Kids show until it got stupid. So
the Lego one or something else?
No, camp. I can't pronounce Cretaceous. You guys know
Cretaceous.
Yeah, the one with like the little kids. It's like spun off from there on the other side of the island when Jurassic World goes down. Okay. They've already released like 4 seasons in like 2 years of this animated show.
Let me tell you what I don't care about: Jurassic Park, Jurassic World.
They released the snowboarding. I mean, Olympics.
Listen, I'm still doing the East West. Don't care.
And that's Danny, all I cared.
Wait,
one last thing.
Star Trek.
I was going to say,
is it going to be Star Trek related?
Yes, it is Star Trek related. At first, when they announced Star Trek Starfleet Academy, in my head, I was like, okay, so we'll be kind of like the beginning of Star Trek, the film from JJ. But then I was like, oh no, this is why they spun off Tilly and what's her face. This is now they didn't remove them from their lineup. They're using them to create another show, just like they were doing with other characters. Because it really is. Some of the shows aren't connected at all, but it really is a Discovery universe. Kind of like Mando is the one spinning, and Boba is the one stuff spinning off into other series they've announced. So.
Focus.
You mean Mandalorian 2.5?
Yeah. I've said my piece about Trek now.
Danny, can you weigh in?
I had a couple of questions.
Not your favorite universe. Let's hear it.
I had a couple of questions, but I think you may have answered one of them already. I had no idea what Prodigy was, so my question was that a cartoon series show, a serialized show, or something like that? But I think you've answered that already now.
So it is a serialized show that stars Kate Mulgrew, and so she returns as Janeway. And so you get
in animated form, or right? Gotcha. Okay,
it's like CG animation, and it's on Nickelodeon at the same time as Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
gotcha. And the second question was more for you guys. I think it's great that the big Star Trek fans have now got a lot of stuff to get their teeth into and a lot of content to complain about, bitch about, or love, whatever us fans do. But what I was going to ask you was what do you think has been the catalyst for this? Because the films weren't as big as they hoped they would be, hence the big Star Trek hasn't quite made the impact on the big screen that Star Wars has. But the TV stuff seems to have really taken off from what I can see since Enterprise, because what I remember was...
you mean Discovery?
Discovery, yeah. Enterprise wasn't as well received. Deep Space Nine and Voyager had like mixed kind of reviews, and they're quite old now as well.
Yeah,
what, 15,
I think it's
20
over
years,
10
maybe?
years since we had Star Trek on TV.
I mean, I know I've seen some of Discovery, and I've enjoyed most of Discovery. Season 2, especially, I wasn't a huge fan of Season 1, so I can see how it's got better. But do you think that's been the big shift, or streaming services as a whole, and seeing that is the home for Star Trek and not the big screen, or a combination of the above? Question to you guys, because I'm happy you guys have got shit you love and enjoy, but I'm not as excited by any of this, but basically because I don't know about any of it, other than the basics, obviously.
I would say
you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I would say it's all because of Paramount Plus. And I mean, they start with one show, Discovery, that does have a large budget that you would never, but that's kind of how all these shows are being launched these days. Like, and then obviously if it doesn't work out, there wouldn't have been a second season or any other shows. Like, I mean, I know Halo's getting some of the Star Trek money that they've made, but they're releasing shows that look movie quality on most networks. And I guess it took off enough that they were like, oh, let's keep going. That would be my thought process.
Yeah. I have not read, nor can I think of any reason that it is any one thing that you said. I think it's a combination of all of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it came along at the right time. People were kind of hungry, I think, generally for Star Trek. And I do think that you're right. Television is the right home for Star Trek because you get to balance that. There are people who like a more action-y type, and then there are other people who want that more high concept sci-fi type stuff. And so on television, you're able to do all that stuff. Whereas when it's just restricted to the movies, it is only one of those things. It's hard to balance all that stuff out. And
so do you think sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Jonesy.
No, I was just gonna say the older stuff that it was all based on the same universe, so it either had to be one of those things or the other. And now they basically have a clean slate to do almost whatever they want, and I think that helps as well.
Yeah. So I was going to ask then. So the current Backstreet Boys reunion tour thing that we've been going through for the last couple of years has kind of helped that then with having a more at-home active viewership on the small screen, and with Star Trek having some quality as well with Discovery's help, because I enjoyed I've seen all the old stuff. I've seen Enterprise, Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine. I've seen all that, and I enjoyed it for what it was. There were some great episodes there, some great stuff, particularly last season of Deep Space Nine. I really enjoyed binging that at the time many years ago. But it did seem to then kind of fizzle out a little bit, and they tried with the movies to feel like it was regenerating Star Trek, but it wasn't until Enterprise really that it kicked off, and then boom. So it's almost like I guess what I'm saying, it's almost like it's been a perfect storm, hasn't it, of good and bad points has led Star Trek to find its legs again, and they've done a great job of it as well. So obviously the showrunners and stuff have helped that, and having people involved that care about the projects and stuff have been great. So good. I'm happy for you guys. I'm not necessarily going to jump on and watch, although I did enjoy the first 3 or 4 episodes of Lower Decks when I found it. But I'm not that enamored. Picard, I watched 2 episodes, but I've been told by you guys that I should stick it out. So
I didn't say that.
Not super excited about it.
Not Jonesy.
Yeah, I did not say that.
Jonesy said the opposite. I will say
I'm
that's what
I'm happy for you. Have good things for you to enjoy.
Yes.
You have nice things.
Thank you. I will say that that's why I'm finally did switch from being more interested in Trek than Star Wars, because it was still, all we had was The Mandalorian as far as TV. And yeah, I absolutely think Star Trek works better as TV, because they developed the fuck out of everyone in the ship is you learn more about Stance, who I thought was like an asshole for the first half of the season, and just you get so much character development, and you still get the action. So it's just Star Wars. I think Star Wars still has not developed.
Don't know why you always compare the two. Don't know why you always have
Marvel
to
and DC.
It's not though. It's not though.
No.
Growing up, it's you're a kid, you hate Star Trek and you love Star Wars. Star Trek is it's always Trekkie versus. I'm someone who loves all of it.
No,
like Marvel and DC.
So I think you're right in that it's silly, Jammer, but Nick is right. That is the comparison. There are lots of people. There are people out there. Listen,
I don't care.
You're shaking your
You're
head
wrong.
at me.
You're wrong.
I don't give a fuck about your
I think you were wrong, and that's the point.
I'm telling you from the perspective of I do think that Nick is right. And there are people who are like, this is what I like over here. And it encompasses all of the things that they think Star Wars is. And there are other people who are like, no, I want it to be more highbrow. I want it to be more high concept. And they like Star Trek. Now, it's great that all of us vassal between both of them and just don't really care. And I think you especially eschew all of the fandom type stuff. But that said, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Mm-mm. I didn't say it doesn't exist. I just said it shouldn't be a comparison. Personally, I don't think it should be I didn't say that the comparison didn't exist. I just don't think it should be there.
I'm just using the archetype from growing up as a kid and hearing Star Trek versus Star Wars.
Well, I feel like growing up as a
before the internet
kid,
was even a thing.
Kids just don't like Star Trek usually unless their dads watch it. It's not something that is as kid friendly as Star Wars.
I loved Star Trek as a kid.
Did you?
Okay.
Yes, I thought it was boring as shit.
So I loved it. I still remember the Wonder Years episode where they parodied Star Trek. I was like, oh, that's the only episode of the Wonder Years I remember.
The Wonder Years was also boring. I thought the show was so boring.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's the only one that I remember. We have spent
I'm just bored by everything.
I was about to say we've spent a lot of time on this topic. Do you have anything to say about Star Trek other than shooting down shit that Nick writes?
No.
All right.
No.
All right. Guys, ready for the next story?
Engage.
I'm glad Jammer's back because I don't want to have him not here for this thing. Jason Momoa is joining the family.
Fuck.
Not the mafia. You need see. God damn it. See, that's why I'm glad Jammer's back. Anyway, Fast 10. It has been reported like previously there were some rumblings, there were some talks, but now it is official that Jason Momoa will be joining Fast 10 in what is going to be part of a 2-part movie finale to end the Fast franchise. Yeah. And he's going to be joining as an antagonist. And so like the scuttlebutt is that he will be joining up with Cypher and doing something. And I think this will be Charlize Theron's last appearance in number 10.
Doubt it. She's there for the long haul. She's gonna be the new Hobbs and Shaw put together.
Two Hobbs.
They're gonna have a spin-off. It's just gonna be her arguing with herself the entire movie and trying to one up herself.
As long as she's not arguing with those terrible dreadlocks.
I don't believe this is actually going to be the end. It's like the final destination.
I agree.
Anyway.
I mean, it's like Dr. Manhattan says, right? It never ends.
So they already had that with the Fast and Furious, where they switched. They made that be the reboot, as opposed to the Fast and Furious was Fast and Furious. So they're gonna have to come up with another method of doing that for the inevitable 11th movie.
Start going prequel direction. Anyway, let's let Jonesy finish the story. Or was that it?
I mean, that's really all there is to the story. We know that he is coming on board. And so my question to you guys was going to be, and so this is against the backdrop of The Rock coming out and being like, fuck no, I'm not going to be in this. And we kind of already talked about this, that he talked about, basically the Vin Diesel is being manipulative in some of the things that he was saying in the public about a conversation it sounds like they already had in private. So on the heels of that, they have turned around and secured Jason Momoa for the next sequel. Does this excite you guys? And I'll start with Jammer because I know the answer from you other two chuckleheads. I mean, colleagues that I deeply respect.
I'll like, sure. I mean, I like Jason Momoa. We'll see how it looks in the trailer. I'm not sure if particularly, anything like, oh, well, now I have to see it. I don't know if it's like that level, but I was going to see, Fast 10 no matter what. So it's just a matter of they didn't make me less excited for it.
So I kind of agree with you but here's my point of disagreement. When I heard that John Cena was going to be in 9, I was disappointed. Then he surprised me. And so
did he? Interesting. Okay.
Yes, because I thought that because my expectations were like under the floor. Right. And so like he was not terrible. I didn't even think that he was bad. He was not the worst part of that movie.
No, he wasn't bad at all. I just don't think it wasn't like exceptional for me.
So in my head, I think Bumblebee, and then I think about this. And if you're coming from a Bumblebee mindset, this is like almost Oscar-worthy performance.
Yeah, he didn't do much in Bumblebee. He was just kind of there. He wasn't bad. He was just there.
He was.
I'd forgotten he was in Bumblebee.
Yeah, me too.
Bumblebee was great.
It actually gives me more reason to want to watch it, even if he's bad.
Well,
he's not bad in it.
In the conversation when Jonesy was mentioning Bumblebee and Fast and Furious, I thought, what the fuck? Bumblebee is heaps better than that shit. But you meant John Cena was in Bumblebee, right? Gotcha.
And Bumblebee is heaps better than most of the Fast and Furious movies. That's for sure.
Jonesy.
Yeah, I've wanted to see it. It has the Amblin film.
You said it's better than one of them? Is that what you're saying?
No, I just said wrong.
I said
wrong. You sit there in your wrongness while Nick talks about
how many Bumblebee how many Fast and Furious movies are better than Bumblebee?
While someone else talks, I will think about that.
Okay. Nick, as someone who doesn't really like this franchise, what are your thoughts about Jason Momoa joining the family?
Well, I just watched Aquaman for the first time, and even though I had no feelings for that character, and even Zack Snyder's cut, I really saw his talent come through in the Aquaman film. And he's very enjoyable, that character, and I'm sure I'll see more from the actor coming up. Otherwise, so he's the bad guy, right? So he'll be the good guy by part 2 and part of the family. Is that how all the movies work? And then they'll add Dave Bautista in part 2. I'm surprised he's not in this franchise. But I
feel like that's a good lesson, right? Yeah. Like you can just bring everybody on your side.
Yeah, that's true. By the end, there won't even be any bad guys, and they'll just ride into the sun. Not one character dead unless they died off. Not one character dead forever. They'll all come back.
Except for the ones that died already. Oh yeah, Gal Gadot.
I was gonna say in real life, like Paul Walker won't be back, but every other character who died, like Han, can be brought back, and they'll all ride into the sun. That's again.
But they can use that that Mandalorian deepfake technology to bring back Paul Walker again for a proper role in the next movie.
I still think most movies it feels disrespectful, with the exception of one I've seen recently. I don't want to spoil the film, but like I don't know. Yeah, those are my thoughts. It does. I mean, I'm probably not going to see it still. So I don't believe
you don't like the franchise.
Yeah, and I still don't believe it's the end. They'll just continue with different actors, even if Vin Diesel says he's done.
So here's the thing: we will not agree.
Yeah.
Like as I'm tallying up the Fast and Furious movies and comparing them to Bumblebee.
That's what you.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, no. I'm bringing it back.
Like, is he making fun of me with his fingers?
No. We won't agree. Because I like Tokyo Drift. You hate Tokyo Drift, right?
Oh, it's the worst.
See, and I like Tokyo Drift.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
2 is embarrassing.
No. I mean, yeah, it is, but I like 2.
CGI,
but
cars,
I can understand
it's not good.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to say it's good.
That was the whole point. Are we starting an argument? You were like, "Hey,
it's still better. It's still better than 3, though."
No, it's not. And so that is the movie.
Okay,
that's the movie that I think it hinges on.
You think that's better than Bumblebee, though? You think Tokyo Drift is better than Bumblebee?
I enjoyed Tokyo Drift more than Bumblebee. Yes.
Crazy.
Like I can hear the soundtrack in my head.
I don't care if you can hear the soundtrack in your head.
Things about it that I love.
I hear voices in my head. You don't see me doing anything crazy.
Hey, you know what? I don't know what.
Well,
we haven't seen him.
Murder.
I've just heard rumors.
Okay, well that's definitely a choice. So if you like Fast and Furious 3 better than Bumblebee, there's no coming back from that.
That's what I'm saying. We're not going to agree. At least I can acknowledge that. I'm just saying. Like,
is there any Fast and Furious movie that is worse than Bumblebee besides 2?
He said 2. Oh,
so I think 9 is worse.
Okay.
And I think that worse, I would just say 9. 9 is the one that I think is objectively worse.
Just not even the first one.
No.
What the fuck, dude?
Oh.
Okay, you know what? I'll tell you what. Just to make this amicable, I'll give you the first one. I'll even give you the second one.
Okay, give him the second one.
You know what? That still makes most of them better to me. That's all that matters.
Okay.
You guys ready to move on?
I think we're ready to move on.
Although Danny needs to give his comments about how excited he is about.
Oh yeah, that's right. Totally forgot. He was so quiet over there. He was like hiding behind his microphone.
He loves his Momoa. He loves his Fast.
Come on, let's hear it. What? You're spinning a wheel, right? Spinning wheel. Fast and Furious.
I was trying to move this along. I don't care. Next. What's the next on the news?
The next thing on the news is I don't really care about this, but Dakota Johnson is going to be joining. Yeah, she's going to be joining the Sony's Spider-Verse. She's going to be coming in as Madam Web, which I think is interesting because this is generally, as I've seen her, an older character, someone who was introduced in the 1980s. And she's an individual that kind of ties together all of the different Spider-Verses. And so she's going to be joining this. And there really aren't too many more details other than that.
Is it said it's going to be her own movie or is it going to be in just the universe?
No,
it's her movie.
I thought it was her own movie, yeah.
I mean, I know there was a movie in the works like 3 or 4 years ago, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if those are still around.
We'll probably still get Agent Aunt May eventually too.
Yeah, so
Silver and Black actually doesn't sound terrible.
I thought the Agent Aunt May thing
what's her name? I was like, it's not going to be what's her name from No Way Home anymore. That'd be
different universe.
Marissa Tomei. Yeah, you could go back in time. We got variants.
I was gonna say it's a different universe anyway. Just cast somebody else.
Yeah.
Already had we've had 3 live action animes.
You guys excited about anything with regards to Madam Web? We'll go in reverse order since Danny didn't care about Fast and Furious. Do you care about Spider-Man and Madam Web?
Not until we get something more than just this person might be the actress playing this one. I mean, are we thinking that they're still going ahead with the news we got a couple of years ago with the Madam Web movie itself, or they're completely changed that now? Now they're just going to try and use her as a character to link the other films. What do you think?
So this seems like it is her own movie, which I think makes it slightly more interesting. It makes
it's the one that S.J. Clarkson is directing, and if I recall, she did Star Trek. Am I mistaken on that one? S.J. Clarkson, the director, she did something.
Of a
Star Trek
film or one of the shows?
Yeah,
or
one of the movies.
No, wait,
I don't
one of the movies. I've never named.
No, Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones and Succession.
Close.
Oh, okay. I want to wait. Which season
Jones.
of Jessica Jones?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
Because this is what's going
let
to
me check.
decide am I in or out.
Well, to be fair, directing
Yes.
is different from writing.
Sure, maybe.
Uh,
But if you were a director and you saw that
2015,
script,
2015, you can't make it. You can't change it. You're a TV. You're a hired hand.
I don't care. I don't care.
What do you mean you don't care? Okay.
She
do
can't
you
change it,
remember-
but I can decide. That's what's going to happen.
So emotional.
I am emotional. I'm sleepy.
That's
Need a nap.
sleepy.
That's what's going
Well,
on.
I'm
next,
looking at the episodes.
if we're going opposite
here.
order, right?
Season one.
Yeah, while he's doing his Google,
so season
his
one.
being
Season
research.
one.
Season 1? Okay, now I'm on board.
Season one.
I'm
Yeah.
slightly more interested.
She was on AKA Ladies Night and AKA Crush Syndrome, which I believe are episodes 1 and 2.
Hey, those are the best episodes. Maybe. I don't remember. Nick,
And also Succession.
don't watch it. Nick,
Yeah.
how you
We're
feeling
talking-
about
no,
this?
I'm kidding.
Madam Web.
I really, every time Sony Marvel announces something, I'm like, this sounds stupid. Mostly because I don't think they can handle their own shit, even if it is like a cool character you'd like to see.
Is Madam Web a cool character that you'd like to see?
All I remember about her is from the animated series from the 90s, and that's very little. She just shows up sometimes to help Spider-Man, right? And
Wasn't she in a wheelchair?
no, she's like, and like sits on a web all the time because she is
Okay.
old and like, but people who have been posting pictures next to Dakota Johnson have been posting pictures of some younger Madam Web with like long red hair that almost looks more like Spider-Woman. So I guess she's been updated at some point in some universe.
Okay.
I
would be
except for making it a big Spider-Verse. I don't know why she needs her own movie. It looks like it's her mending the multiverse or something.
Yeah. I don't recall her being in a wheelchair jammer, but I do remember her being blind. Like that was her.
You know, I think it is she was sitting in her little pod that she sits in feels wheelchair-esque to me. I think that's what it
Okay.
is.
Got it.
And I think in my mind, it just auto-completed to, that's a wheelchair because I couldn't fill in the blanks in my head because I haven't seen it in years.
But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch all these Sony movies. I'll watch any Spider-Man movie, whatever. Doesn't mean
I
I'll
love
like
just the
it,
way you
but I'm on
commit
the
yourself
train.
to these things. You're like, I'm on it. I'm not getting off. I'll ride this thing into the brick wall if I have to.
I've only like
Which,
not
you know,
seen
to be
2
fair,
Marvel
I've-
movies ever. So
Whatever.
Fantastic
I have
and
not
Dark
seen-
Phoenix.
Yeah, I haven't seen exactly. I haven't seen those 2 either.
That's the only
Um,
2 I can think of.
those
Besides,
the
I just
only
haven't
2 for
gotten the
me?
Blade yet.
I didn't see Rise of the Silver Surfer.
I think I saw most of it working in a movie theater. Enough of it.
You know, I could see this being. I feel like Madam Web is a character that is just like fodder for Into the Spider-Verse or whatever the Spider-Verse movies are, and I could see this being a twist where it's like, just kidding, she's actually just a voice, kind of like how Catherine Hahn played Octavius or Octavia. What the hell's her name? And Octavia, in the first one. But like, I mean, who knows? Who knows? But as Nick said, there is apparently a younger version of the character that everyone is throwing up comparisons to.
I know
and
nothing
think should
about
be full
that
in line with that. I don't know nothing about Madam Web in any incarnation, so I can't say one way or another, but
Oh my
she
God.
exists.
Danny, can you save us? Do you know anything about Madam Web?
Absolutely nothing at all, other than the
Right.
news we got 2 years ago. So I've got nothing on this whatsoever. No.
All I remember is what I remember from being a kid. That's about it. And I think a lot
like I
of it
said,
is informed by what Nick said from the animated
Animated
show.
series, but it's been forever since I watched that. I remember what she looks like. And I thought she helped out not Harry Potter, Peter
Wow.
Parker. Once in a
Wow.
while. Well, last week I called Ethan Hawke Ethan Hunt almost multiple times. So
That's funny. I mean, that's on brand for Nick. That's very
Yeah.
on brand.
it was not a surprising mistake.
Okay. Anything else to say about this before we move on?
Cool.
Nope.
I'm hearing nothing, and we're moving on. So we got a trailer for Halo, the long gestating series, and we've gone through multiple iterations of this, right? I think there was going to be a version way back in like 2010 or even
Mhm.
Like a
before
Peter
that.
Jackson movie. Yeah.
Peter Jackson.
Well, directed by Neil Blomkamp or whatever. Right
There's
after
that
District
one.
9.
Like, it's just, it was all over. And I think even in District 9, there were weapons, right? That looked like weapons straight out of Halo. And so,
Yeah.
you know, we've just been waiting on this for a very long time, and we finally got a trailer. This is a show that's going to be premiering on Paramount Plus in March. So I know that I'm fairly excited for it. I don't know how you all feel about it. Now I'm going to start with Danny, mostly because I think this is the game, right? This is the game that got you out of the game.
It was the my first.
You little
transition
rage
to
monster. Let's hear about it.
Yeah, with Halo 3. Was it Halo 3 on the Xbox? Yeah, Halo 3 on the Xbox. When I first got the Xbox, that was when the new generation of head mic stuff was coming out, and you could interact and play with people around the world and things. And I really, really enjoyed this one. I actually quite got into the not just playing the game, but some of the lore as well. I don't remember too much about it. Cam, one of our fellow contributors to the website, he's been a little bit more involved in the books and stuff, and he remembers a bit more of the canon. So he was reminding me as he was talking about this trailer about certain aspects of the trailer that look like they're stolen from a game and a book and then melded together. I love the way it looked. I like the fact that they seem to have made it a little bit more earthbound action for now, but I feel that was maybe just a budgetary thing and to bring new people into the show. I think if they jump straight in with the aliens, for want of a better word, it might confuse people a little bit. So to bring in more of a human element first, and then some spattering of the aliens, at least that's what the trailer's given us. I think that was a way to bring people in that aren't necessarily Halo fans from the games and maybe attract a wider audience. But from what I've seen, I loved it. I love the way it looks, the production value. I like the way the action was done. And I like the fact that at the moment, Master Chief is keeping his helmet on, although game-wise, it's not such a big thing if he takes the helmet off. It's not like a Mandalorian thing, because he has been known to take the helmet off in later games, I believe.
I think
I
Cam
like
said
it.
he's read that he will take off the helmet
He probably will.
quite a few times.
Yeah. But I like the fact the trailer kept it on because it adds that mystique about the character right now. It gets people into it. Oh, who is this? Who is this guy? Why is he so fucking important? Why is he the Master Chief and all that stuff? So yeah, I'm in. I'm sold. Look, I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely.
Okay. Nick Dahl, let's hear it.
I had no excitement for it until I saw the trailer. Now, I didn't realize it was happening this fast because I didn't really know it was even in production until I saw the teaser. And the teaser was so teasery. I'm like, oh, they're probably just early on shooting and they're showing that. And then they have this full like theatrical length trailer. And I don't know any of the lore. So I've been asking people like Cam, like how close does it actually look to any of it? But as a non-fan of the games, I've only played multiplayer, so I don't know any of the story. I'm very, very excited. I think it looks very good. Like the trailer's cool with the choice of music and just like it looks like it's a quality of Star Trek is what it looks like. It's going to be like action packed. I mean, that's unlike Star Trek, but like it looks high budget and like very much the lore when he touches the thing and it like gives him different memories or whatever. And yeah, I'm intrigued. The trailer got me excited and just even like curious, like, oh, what's this about? Like, I know it's called Halo, but what's a Halo? And like stuff like that.
Well, if you've seen Moonfall, you know what a Halo is.
Fuck.
Well, I thought that's what it was a big round thing around a planet, but he like touches an item and calls it Halo. So
no,
he's like, I found Halo or something.
Yeah, it's just an artifact. That's not what a Halo is. Like
Halo's like it's like in the Mandalorian. That's what it is.
Like that one.
Not Mandalorian, Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Beyonce.
That's what I thought. But so is it also a space station or just like?
No, I mean I was being
weapon?
serious. If you've seen Moonfall, you've basically seen what a Halo is. So we'll get into it in a little bit. And that's one of the reasons why this is the last story before we get into the movie. And that's why, because there are elements of that movie where it's like, that's the Halo ring with one exception that I know of. So,
Halo ring has an atmosphere.
So you didn't see Moonfall, right?
No, I did not.
The rings that we saw in Moonfall might.
Okay.
Oh, they definitely did.
But I mean, like Halo, I feel like also has like Earth-like terrain. And again, I don't know if Moonfall doesn't, but
It does.
It does.
Okay, well, never mind then.
You done now?
In my mind, I was auto-completing with the Mandalorian because in my head, it's like that's just like a artificial thing.
It also reminds me of Elysium. The Mandalorian scene did it a lot.
Yeah, I feel like we're walking into Simpsons did it territory with Halo.
It's
like
fine.
No. I'm saying like all of the things that we're talking about, Halo was the one where it's like, here is a orbital ring with an atmosphere or that people live on that has a habitat. Like it all is very reminiscent of Halo.
Okay. I thought that was a weapon in the books for some reason, but now
that is one difference. The only difference is those rings can destroy all life. So they emit a blast that can do that.
Shit.
But other than that, everything else is the same.
I do want to just make a slight comment feeding into Moonfall that Ronald Emmerich, anyone ever tried to pronounce the last
Roland Emmerich.
Roland. I knew the
Did you say
first name
Ronald?
right.
You
I
guys
don't
fucked
know.
up both words.
I see like
Ronald
those two
Emmerich.
words that look like kind of together, and I'm like, okay.
I know why you did that. You were watching Peacemaker this week, weren't you?
It's like Wolfgang Pearson.
But he had a comment about how there's no Star Wars, and like a different comment than Scorsese, who's like, big movies are ruining Hollywood, because he's obviously making the big stupid movies and that's his thing. But he was like, Star Wars
exactly
and
making fucking Macbeth or anything.
It was like Star Wars and Marvel are ruining the industry because there's no originality. And it's like he just took something from Halo, and there's like a Moonfall 2 announced before Moonfall came out, or at least they're hoping for, but this movie's probably going to flop hardcore and get beaten by a Jackass movie. Anyway, now you can go on to your, I'm just assuming Jackass will beat it.
Maybe people need Jackass.
There was a lot in that word salad to tease apart. I kind of agree with some of what you're saying. But I don't want to jump on the Moonfall yet.
Okay.
Because I haven't given my Halo thoughts yet.
Yeah, I was like, me either.
Oh, shit. I thought, sorry. When you brought up the ring, I was like, oh.
Like, this is the perfect transition. I've spoken, so let's go ahead and go into the next topic.
Nick has said his piece. Ooh. Let us move on.
I've spoken.
That is the way.
I have spoken.
Jammer.
Can't believe I missed that.
Let's hear your Halos.
What's up?
That's why we're here. Gotta support you.
I hate to be the stick in the mud.
Like normal.
It looked okay. It was it didn't look very good visually to me. It looked kind of artificial and cheap, and just it kind of reminded me of this web series Forward Unto Dawn, except a little bit more high budget. It looks not as real as The Mandalorian, even though The Mandalorian uses almost completely CG backdrops, or at least artificially made backdrops in one way or another. It just didn't look. It looked. I mean, I'm probably I would say I would watch it, but I'm not sure this is going to be enough to get me over to even watch Paramount Plus. It looked a bit stupid, like just the way the way the story they were going for. It just felt just so surface level basic. And obviously maybe it'll be more, but it just seemed like it was kind of hitting all of the notes. And I'm like, whoa, people want to see this. They want to see Master Wheel wielding a fucking Gatling gun doing shit, blow explosions. It felt kind of like that for me. Anyways, nothing particularly exciting. It kind of felt Starship Troopers-esque to me as well. And I was just not feeling it. I'm open to the idea of it changing my mind, but I just wasn't feeling it personally. I do like the games. I read a couple of the novels. I played the first 2 games. I will say I fell off after Halo 2, but I played the shit out of the first 2 games, like probably hundreds of hours into both of those. I don't really remember the mythology that much at this point, but I'm not getting a lot of what I felt in the game here.
Okay. I don't disagree with you. So you're not a stick in the mud. And so E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews, who we've had on the show to talk about the recast T'Challa movement, he tweeted this out and was asking, like, what do you all think about it? And the first thing that I said was, it looks cheap, but I still want to see it. The practical effects, I cannot tell if these Covenant, because that's what these aliens are, if they're practical or CGI or a blend between the two, but they don't look particularly good. And that doesn't deter me from wanting to see this series, because one, I like Halo, just like Jammer. I read the books, and so I'm really interested in the lore. I'm curious what they're going to do with this, and you get elements of seeing. So John 117 is Master Chief, and you see him talking to Bokeem Woodbine, and you get elements of what happened to them when they were kids. And so they're going to dig into that backstory. And so Pablo Schreiber, who, if you've seen American Gods, he was in that, and he's an actor that I really enjoy. And I think that he can add that weight and pathos to all of those things. And so those are the things that kind of get me more interested in it, more so than just what I saw. So I'm interested in it from that perspective. But yeah, there is something about it that it does not look good. And it's funny, Nick, you said that they get the Star Trek money. I remember seeing the opening scene from the beginning of Star Trek 2, I'm sorry, Star Trek Discovery season 2, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I could not believe what they were doing on television. You remember the pods when they were flying through the asteroid fields?
Yeah.
Like, it was
The
amazing
finale
movie
of that
quality
show
stuff.
too. Of that
This
season.
is not even close. And in all fairness, maybe they're just saving that stuff for the show, because even Boba Fett this season, like the beginning of the series, you're like, this doesn't look particularly good. And now towards the end of it, the back half of the show, you're getting to see where they spent that money. So maybe there's something more to it other than that. But yeah, that's I'm going to give it its fair shot. Like I said, as somebody who's really into the games and really into the mythology, I'll probably go play Halo right after we're done. I'm going to watch the show. And so it's going to premiere on 24 March of this year. I'm going to try and get Danny to download the Halo Infinite so we can rage together on these people. I always think about the Marilyn Manson song, Killing Strangers. That's like my theme song for Halo, because I'm just going to go kill strangers. Like, that's what I'm going to do.
I will say I am blessed with the childlike mind that just loves stupid action and can't tell when CGI is bad. Everyone else is like, that looks terrible. I'm like, it looks dope. Like, it's movie quality. And everyone else is like, it doesn't look that good. I'm like, I guess not even like, well, they name out Mandalorian. And Jammer's like, no, that does not look like movie quality.
Yeah, I don't. The thing is, it is being bombarded with things on television that look better. And so, yeah, again,
that's true.
I think the comparison that I made was even in Boba Fett, like you see that swing of like, this doesn't look particularly good, to all the way to now, where it's just like, holy crap, you got Halo rings and Naboo fighters and X-Wings and CGI Luke. Like, oh, that was half your budget for the show right there. So
yeah,
it's like they saved money on the first ones. I didn't think of that.
I mean, Halo looks great for TV 10 years ago, but it looks pretty par for the course for me now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, whether or not it looks cheap, at the end of the day, Nick, you're right, doesn't really matter. As long as it's passable and it like puts me in the atmosphere in some way, as long as it's passable, it's fine. I can look past most bad CGI or most bad production design if the story and acting is good.
What I'm worried about is, to your point, you said, the story looks basic. This is a game that's 20 years old, and we should have gotten something like this, like, 10, 11, 12 years ago. I am concerned that the cupboard is bare, and I'm curious if they're going to be able to bring something that we either haven't seen before, or is the story just that good and resonant that, in regardless of whatever form it appears, it'll still be good. That I don't know.
Like the John Carter effect.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. For those who don't know, John Carter is essentially an old 100-some-odd-year-old story that was adapted into that John Carter Disney movie. And the story itself was like an archetypal type story that was aped many, many times over the past century, plus to the point where when the movie came out, it felt basic.
Yeah.
Interesting, because Dune's kind of the same thing. But obviously there's better filmmakers and stuff involved, where it's like Dune's been redone 1,000 times, like Star Wars, like, like not actual takes on it, but tropes.
Yeah, I can't
things
say
that
I'm
weren't
familiar
tropes in the
enough.
original book have been done over and over and over again, just like you were talking about.
But I think there's probably a bit more substance in that one.
I'm sure there is.
I can't say for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like in John Carter, there might not be a lot more substance that wasn't already in the book. I think that's sort of the difference. But I see your point.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else before we move on? No, nothing else. Really, what I was hoping was that Danny was going to say he's going to download Halo. But, I guess.
No. Oh, wait, where was the fucking Halo music?
No. I think it was there.
No,
I
it wasn't.
recall it being there. I have not watched it.
A cover of
In the Air Tonight.
Yeah.
You're right.
Which is part of the reason I dug the trailer. I'm like, cool music, editing.
No. Okay. So here's what I'm hoping. I think I did the Jammer thing. I think my brain auto-completed that when they showed the logo, they switched to the Halo music. If they didn't do that, that's a huge misstep, because almost like we've talked about with like the music from the Avengers. I think that the music from Halo is at this point iconic. And if they did not put that in the trailer, somebody fucked up, because a cover of In the Air Tonight, I remember watching that and not thinking that did shit for me. Yeah, that's absolutely wrong. I'm gonna have to watch it again after this.
Yeah.
God damn it, I hope you're wrong. Please be wrong.
It's like the trailer I've watched the most since the trailer for the Nick Cage movie Unbearable Talent or whatever.
The
No.
unbearable burden of being a cage. Is
Yeah.
that it?
I was like, I don't know. It looks fantastic. I don't need to remember the title. It's one of those long titles where you're like, or even Halt and Catch Fire, which I watched for years without actually knowing the title. Like, cause it's hard to
wrong with
remember
you?
because it's such a weird title.
It's
Did you see
not.
the title sequence every time you turn it on?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not like, I don't know. It's not like, it's a weird
like-
phrase. And even when you tell some people to watch it later, they're like, what? Wait, what show did you tell me to watch? I can't remember the title at all. You're like, Halt and Catch Fire. And they're like, okay.
How many shows has Lee Pace done? You know who Lee Pace is.
Yeah.
That's a name I've never heard you screw up. Right.
He
So
did,
Lee Pace TV show.
What's his
Yeah,
name?
that's probably
He
what
did,
I would have called it. Lee
Oh,
Pace.
what is the name of that
Scoot
one show he
McNairy?
did?
Oh,
This is
Not
Daisy show.
not the Good Place. What's the name of the other show he
Pushing
did?
Daisies.
That-
Daisies.
Pushing Daisies. That was
He
it.
said the
I
exact
kept saying,
same.
I was like, Daisies. Fuck.
Well, it's not
Am I
called
muted?
Daisies, it's called
Is this
Pushing
thing on?
Daisies.
And of course, he's in the Marvel universe. When I was trying to tell my parents who he was before they watched it, or even after they watched it, like, he looks familiar, and I'm like, I was naming all
I'll
this
never
stuff, and I'm like,
tell.
oh, he's in The Hobbit, and they're like, oh yeah, we do recognize his face from The Hobbit.
The Hobbit,
Yeah,
really?
he's the only 10-foot tall guy in fucking The Hobbit.
Was he
he's
sitting
so
most
tall.
of the time?
Yeah, he's like one of the elves, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't he like just talking with Gladriel and Agent
Sure.
Smith about
Sure.
like shit's coming, and they're like, no,
Listen,
shit isn't coming.
Here's what I don't
Let's-
want to remember that
Let's
movie.
let's not do anything about it for the next several
I don't
decades or
remember.
whatever.
I don't want to remember that movie.
To be
mean,
fair,
Moonfall
actually,
or
we
The Rings is
criticize
coming.
that, but that actually, based on everything that we lived through in the past several years, that feels accurate. We're gonna know it's coming, but not gonna do anything about it.
That doesn't make it better.
No, but it makes it feel real.
Sure.
Like
You're not
it's
wrong.
actually it would feel less real if they did something about it.
Okay. You're right. Just like that whole phrase, avoid it like the plague. Like, that's not a real thing. That's not what humans do, apparently.
Yeah, humans run toward the plague. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid.
I've got an immune system, baby. Did my own research. Something.
God will protect me as well.
Please don't ban
It's
us.
not like he
Spotify.
created the
Oh,
plague.
God.
We ain't bringing in Joe Rogan views, so let's not push the envelope there. Moonfall.
July 20th, 1969.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
In school, you were taught that Apollo 11 lost contact with the world for 2 minutes. Not true. They found something on that day that they kept hidden for 50 years. And now, it's too late to stop.
You guys
Jamie,
ready?
bring that up for me. That's
What?
what he says.
Is that
in
a
the show
reference
a
to
lot.
the show? I've never actually
Reference
watched
to
it.
Joe Rogan. Jamie, can you bring that up? Can you bring up that article?
I have no.
Google Joe Rogan controversy. You see that there? Well, who's the source on that? Can we trust them?
I feel like you've watched too much of it.
I was about
I
to
mean,
say, like, you're.
I'm not
impression
gonna
is
lie.
pretty good.
I have listened to a good amount of the show. I don't listen to what he has to say, but I think the show is entertaining. I haven't
Interesting.
listened to it in probably several months, but
Okay.
You're part of the problem. You're what got Neil Young removed from the spot.
Oh no, not Neil Young.
I just like that he thought that would work. I don't want to get us too far.
I mean, to be fair,
Well-
he did start
Yeah.
a trend to bring in other people.
so
So
not that many or have a lot more done it.
there's
So-
a few.
It's enough that it's a problem.
Mm,
Yeah.
So, and that's the idea. But
cool.
for the
Cool,
third
cool,
time,
cool.
you guys ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Moonfall. It's got a 41% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and a 71% from the audience. It's got a 5 out of 10 on IGN and a 1.5 out of 5 on IndieWire. This film stars Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, John Bradley, and it is directed by Roland Emmerich. And the synopsis is as follows: the world stands on the brink of annihilation when a mysterious force knocks the moon from its orbit and sends it hurtling toward a collision course with Earth. With only weeks before impact, NASA executive Joe Fowler teams up with a man from her past and a conspiracy theorist for an impossible mission into space to save humanity. Before we get into our reactions, what I think I loved about this is like I could not stop hearing Jammer's refrain about the Godzilla movie. And it was,
What was my refrain?
we were talking about Brian Tyree being a conspiracy theorist as a hero.
Oh,
And we're like,
not Roland Emmerich's. No, I said his name wrong again, but not his Godzilla.
Yeah,
The
not his
recent
Godzilla. No. More
I
recent.
thought that made
Godzilla.
more sense, but yeah,
And not the most recent Godzilla, but a
Godzilla
recent.
versus Kong.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was that one.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. And it was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Not trusting scientists, whatever.
Well,
Doing
when I
his own
watched
research.
the trailer for the first time, the first half,
Literally
of it,
did
like,
his own
oh,
research.
this is an action version of Don't Look Up, and then they revealed the alien thing in the trailer. I'm like, oh, not
Yeah,
so
man.
much.
If you've seen the trailer, you've seen this movie. But
Excellent.
I'd like to start with Danny, mostly because we got a treat, right? This is one of those movies. They did something goofy and weird that I haven't seen. I don't think we got a Lego opening scene of this movie. And so did that help soften the blow for you? Because apparently people don't like this movie. And so did
What does
that
that
help?
mean?
Did you
Can you
not
explain
see
what you mean
it?
by a Lego opening? No, I haven't.
They
I made that
released
very
no,
clear.
no,
to
no,
all
no,
of
no.
you.
What they shared
So they're-
online, instead
Yeah.
of like sharing a normal clip, they shared the opening clip from the movie done by the Lego company,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
like
cute.
full
Oh,
on,
it
like
is cute,
official.
right? Yeah.
I was like, all movies should do that. The Batman
Yeah.
should do that. If you're gonna Marvel, if you're gonna release a clip, release it in Lego.
I would love if what's his face did that. So Paul Rudd, when he goes on TV shows and they're like, hey, did you bring a clip? And he always brings like Mac and Me, like that clip from Mac and Me. So if
I
he
didn't
brought
know
like
that.
Lego version, yeah, I think it's Conan O'Brien.
Yeah,
He goes on there and he does that. But if he did
he actually
that with,
said he can't. The last time he did it was like the last episode. He's like, I won't be able to do it anymore.
won't be able to do it anymore. So yeah, a friend of mine reminded me of that. Anyway, Danny, getting to envision the opening scene of this movie in Lego, did that help you like it any more or less? What was your impression?
It helped me not at all. It made me smile because Lego is awesome, but what this fucking movie is fucking awful. I fucking hated it. I never fucking want to see this fucking thing again. It's fucking woeful. It really is. That's my Twitter review. How many characters can I say fucking awful in one fucking review? Awful.
I'll
movie.
find out later.
We should ask Ricky Gervais. He might know.
Or
Awful.
Peacemaker.
Let me ask you this. What is your tolerance for his films generally? So we've got stuff like Independence Day, Day After
yeah,
Tomorrow,
see that-
or like
This is why it's so disappointing, because Independence Day had that charm about it because of the fact that we had some character. I don't want to use the word development too much, but we had some character development in that movie that actually made you give a shit about pretty much anyone that had a speaking part in that film, from the president to Will Smith's character. I cared about some of them, and then the dynamic between him and Jeff Goldblum, etc. It easily washed over all the bullshit science and technical stuff that was nonsense, but it was still a really good, entertaining action film with aliens because you cared about the characters. This film had nothing redeeming about the characters at all. The script was awful. So from Ronald Emmerich, or whatever the fuck we call him, director at the moment, it's almost like he's forgotten how to make films with characters in and just wants to show the shiny stuff. And Michael Bay makes better films than this fucking film is, and that's
Absolutely.
just action nonsense. It took me out of it completely. It really did. The lack of care to the script and the characters meant that I couldn't overlook the dubious science, to say the best of it. It was absolutely woeful, and it was really disappointing because Independence Day, even to this day, has a charm about it because you care about the characters in it, or you at least enjoy watching them, and the script was fun and they had a good interaction with each other. Honestly, I'm sorry, but it's just a woeful film. It really is awful.
I think the charm for me, like for whatever reason, every time I think of Independence Day, like I can remember the musical cue, dun, 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 dun. Like I can hear that in my head. It makes me smile.
Yeah. I can't help but think of Armageddon as well. That was, crazy as it was, but it was fun because of the characters. You had some fun with them. You overlooked all the other stuff because it was fun, but with the
Ben Affleck
nonsense
couldn't.
that's in this film, it was
Still love that
awful.
little rant.
It's awful. I don't.
You've seen that
can't
before, Danny, right?
emphasize enough how much I hate this film. I really do. Absolutely think it's awful.
Danny, you've
I've
seen
never
that,
walked
right?
out of a
Where
film, and I never will, but I did fall fucking asleep in it.
He's
Awful.
so angry.
you've seen Ben Affleck like talking about Michael Blake
It's from the
just
commentary.
telling him to shut up. Yeah.
Of Armageddon. He's like, so fucking stupid that Michael Bay would think it's easier to train drillers to be astronauts than to train astronauts.
Basically, I got told to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck was he thinking?
I could nitpick it for the whole 2.5 hours that the film was actually running for 2.5 hours.
It was 2.5 hours.
No,
Well, it
it's
felt
like
fucking-
2:10.
Well, there you go. That's
feels
2 hours
long.
longer than it should have been, Jammer.
10-minute film. You would be down if it was a short film.
Yeah, don't fucking
Or
hell.
just
If
credits.
the moon touched the Earth, it would be over. It is no going back into fucking orbit and shit.
It didn't
Sorry,
touch.
Spoilers alert. It was. What the fuck is a gravity wave? Let's just have high water. Let's take off the Chinook and fly into the wave, not away from the wave. Fuck me. Awful. Absolutely awful. Nonsense. Oh, ghastly. Jammer, don't watch this, buddy. Watch the Lego short, have fun, and switch over.
That sounds good. It makes me happy I didn't have a chance to see this movie because you guys were all like gung ho about this movie. You guys were the slack on like, oh yeah, Moonfall. Let's do Moonfall.
Well,
And
I
was
think
just like
The reaction
I don't have
from
time.
everyone else was like, we definitely don't want to do Jackass, Nick. You're a fool. So we're gonna pick the
I
other
was
stupid
not
movie.
expecting it to be as bad as this. I was hoping for an Independence Day, Armageddon, even a Deep Impact 2012
Ooh.
film might have been more enjoyable.
I didn't like
But
Deep
this
Impact.
was awful.
Well, has he done another single movie that people did like?
No.
Like 2012, I hate. Godzilla, I liked as a kid. Independence Day 2, obviously terrible. I never watched his little like independent Shakespeare movie about Shakespeare stealing. So I can't believe he directed that movie.
Yeah, I think the closest he came to making something that people like is Day After Tomorrow. Like, and I say like the closest.
That's true.
I
I
don't
forgot
know how
about
Was
that
that
way
the
I think
was
that
that the one with
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Others.
who is his dad? Quaid, Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid. Yeah,
Yeah,
I just made
that's
that
right.
name up. Yeah, Dennis Quaid. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I just love making fun of it in South Park where they're like running from the cold. You can't see what the cold is because they're literally running from cold. And there's a scene in they do redo that on South Park where they're like, we can't stop going, we'll freeze to death. And there's just like nothing chasing them and they don't have any tense music because it's making fun of the scene. They're just like, no, we gotta leave it behind. And then literally a guy's like, even though nothing's happening to him. Sorry. Ronald or Emmerich or whatever his name is.
Hamburglar made a movie. Nick Dahl. What did you think of it?
However, I didn't get to see it.
Oh, you didn't see it?
No, but I'm still here to
Just
talk
me
about
and
it.
you, Jonesy.
What?
I didn't realize that. That's
Weren't
I
you
told you
the
guys
one,
like 3
pushing for
times.
this?
I wasn't able to make it. But
This is typical Nick pushing for Scream and then not showing up for Scream.
I didn't push for. I said, should we do this? Should we do this? Should we do Nightmare Alley? Should we do
Wait, no,
Cosby?
he saw
Or should we do
Scream. He
Jackass?
saw Scream.
No, he's talking about the time I made you guys watch the first one and I wasn't able to be on that podcast. He's not talking about the new Scream. He's talking about the time you guys watched the first Scream because it was
I
like
didn't
probably
do
an October show, I'm guessing. Well,
Oh,
but,
right. You know why I don't
Yeah.
remember that? It's because we didn't do it. We were like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah,
talk
but I
about
made you
it.
guys watch it.
Let's do
And then-
that.
Like, what are you guys talking about? Oh, right.
but
That episode that we were going to talk about Scream, but we didn't because Nick wasn't there. But we watched it and then didn't talk about it.
But I will say, just on the trailer, again, this doesn't make. I haven't seen the movie. I can't comment on it.
Oh, no.
I did
We're
find one of the
skipping over you.
silliest
Skipping over you.
moments. No, I did find one of the silliest moments, the one that you guys already talked about, where it's like, oh, this guy's a conspiracy theorist. Let's bring him to space with us, which is
Well,
very.
there's reasons why he gets
So they,
to go to
they
space.
gave reasons,
reasons.
why.
Yeah.
Are
So
they as good
for
as
my
training astronauts to drill?
no. My non-spoiler impressions of this movie was it wasn't. I think it was terrible. It's not particularly good. I'll never watch it again. But I had my expectations appropriately calibrated because like we've talked about it, right? If you've seen Independence Day or the last Independence Day, if you've seen 10,000 BC or anything that Emmerich has done recently, like
I
you're
love
like,
that one too.
I don't know. But generally, I like Patrick Wilson. I like Halle Berry, and I like John. What is his name? John. His
Jon
name just
Snow.
jumped out of my head.
Wasn't it Jon Snow?
No, he knows nothing.
Cena.
Sean was mixed
He knows
up.
nothing. No, not John Cena because I can't see him. I can't think of that guy's name.
He was
Samuel
in it though. You
Tarly.
just didn't see him.
Thank you.
Well,
Tarly.
was it?
The
Samuel
guy that
Tarly.
plays Tarly. I cannot think of his name right now. It's John something. Anyway, John Bradley. So,
Oh, is he the fat guy from Game of Thrones? Who's
man,
like,
look at you,
is Samuel
fat-shaming
Tarly.
people.
well, that's why he always gets made fun of by the other soldiers, and they say he's not worth shit. And Jon Snow's like protecting him, but that's now I know where I
Samuel Tarly.
recognize him from.
So I enjoyed them, and I kind of inserted my feelings about them into like I just overlaid how I felt about them because they weren't really characters, right? I was just like, I like them. So movie's ridiculous, it's stupid, and my brain was appropriately calibrated. I think what let me down about this movie the most, without getting too into spoilers, is the B plot. I didn't like those are the people where I was like, I don't care about any, like if all of them died, I'd be 100% okay with this. And I think what makes that worse is ostensibly you need these people on Earth to show who the people on the moon are fighting for. And if I don't care about these people, it doesn't matter how much I like John Bradley or Patrick
In
Wilson
all
or Halle Berry.
fairness,
Yes.
Fine for all
Joss
of us.
Whedon tried that in Justice League. It didn't work there either.
Yes, but that was like some bullshit. Like that was like, oh, Superman. Like it wasn't just that they had to go save these people. It was the fact that it really just seemed like a reason to take Superman out of the fight.
Yeah.
Not only that, plus it was just bullshit. I don't want to talk about the movie. Especially since we have like a much better version
or
of all
worse
of that.
than
Like, there's just
Moonfall.
no I would watch Moonfall 10 times before. Like you'd have to pay me real money to watch Justice League Joss Whedon again. Like just not.
I'd
Anyway,
rather watch Fast and Furious than Moonfall again.
which one?
Oh,
Any
of
of the
them.
fucking films.
Any of them?
I've never
Make
seen
him do
so
Hobbs
much
and Shaw.
something so
Hobbs
much.
Let's get
Shaw,
into
Hobbs and
spoilers
Shaw.
because I can't say what I want to say without getting into spoilers. So you guys are ready to be spoiled on
I don't give a
Moonfall?
shit.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, I
don't give a
apologize. I probably
fuck.
spoiled something in my rant anyway, Jonesy.
Well, no, you didn't. Because here's the
That's
thing.
right.
Here's what bothers me about this movie. I feel like the alien part should have been a twist because in Deep Impact, in Armageddon, that was a natural thing that was happening, right? That was just a natural phenomenon that was happening. And in this, maybe they were just afraid of people looking at it and going, oh, you're just doing that again. And so they revealed the fact that it was being caused by an alien within the trailer, which I found kind of disappointing. But again, I'll go back to my original issue with the movie. They killed Michael Pena for no reason.
Yep.
Which I was like, why is that happening? Just why?
What do you mean for no reason?
Huh?
Describe
The
his
guys in
death.
space.
So no, he's not in space.
Okay.
So I don't understand why it was Michael Pena. I don't know if he just lost a bet to Roland Emmerich or what, but he plays his character. He's not really a douchebag, but in the context of the movie, he is because he is the new husband of Patrick Wilson's ex-wife. So you're like already keyed up to hate him. And they've got kids together, and it's just like you can tell that they're trying to make you feel some kind of way about him, and then they rectify that later, and they make him into a really nice person. And again, could have been anybody, and I don't understand why it had to be him, because the role was relatively minimal and not, in my opinion, worthy of him. So that's one B plot character.
Yeah,
Didn't care
us Latinos don't even have like the we haven't been troped enough yet in order to get past that. Like you know, like black people do. Like they can, you don't see it, the black people dying in these movies as much these days because they've gone through that trope. There
So
haven't been
now
enough brown people in these movies. We have to get through that trope in order to make it to the still living stage.
But it's Michael, like that's the thing. So he was in Battle Los Angeles, Battle LA,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
he didn't die in that. Not that I recall.
I don't remember.
Right?
I never saw it, but had a killer.
I'm pretty
I
sure
saw
he
it.
survived.
I saw it, but I don't remember.
But he was playing like the same-ish character. Matter of fact, if you told me like, hey, that guy from that movie starts up a car dealership and now he survived, like that's him, like I'd be like, yeah, okay, I guess same guy.
Shared universe.
Shared universe.
different destruction directors.
I hated Halle Berry's husband, not because he was a bad character. He was a horrific actor, like just really bad. And there were things like that just kind of took me out of it. Like I did not expect this to be high concept or anything like that, but there were things like that just kind of took me out of the movie. It was like, these people are just terrible.
My biggest issue with it, Jonesy, was the fact that we had this accelerated timeline where they were moving the plot along very, very quickly. But they didn't do it in a way with the characters that made any sense at all. It was super quick cuts. Okay, we must have a scene where the kid goes to jail. What kid? Oh, that kid. Well, why do I care about that kid? Now we have to have the scene where the bad boss of NASA is mean to Halle Berry's character. Well, now he suddenly quit. He literally just quits, walks off and gives her his key card and fucks off to now say she's in charge. And you're like, how the fuck did that happen? And then
I have a note that says that is not how security clearances work.
No, yeah, here's your security card. You just fucking hand over the card. There's no
it has his name on it.
Informed. Yeah, it's absolute bullshit. Even when they bring Donald Sutherland's character in, he goes, how did you get here? Oh, I've got this key card that someone just gave me. You don't have security clearance for that. And then he says, but then again, it's the end of the world. So I'm going to tell you everything. Exposition, plot, move along. What? And there you go. Scene cut. Donald Sutherland's gone. Everything was moved along at such breakneck.
The thing that was super weird about that was, what was he doing before that? Remember, he was polishing a revolver.
He was polishing a gun with one bullet because he was clearly going to kill himself. Now he suddenly gives a shit about security clearance, knowing that the moon is about to crash into the planet. You don't have security clearance for that. You were about to fucking eat a bullet, unfortunately.
I think he just wanted to talk to Halle Berry.
Nonsense. The kid gets hijacked by this gang for some reason, and he gets punched in the stomach. And I swear the girl that was with him says, "What's wrong, Sonny? You literally just saw me be punched in the stomach, and you're asking me what's wrong, Sonny?" And then scene change. They're now outside the compound with someone shooting at them. Scene change. They're in the fucking house of Michael Pena's character. What the fuck? Scene change. Now taken this space shuttle from a museum and they've transported it across the country and it's already on the launch pad prepped to go. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, because that's how easy it is to take a space shuttle that's been in a museum with probably no innards whatsoever, engine, computers or anything. All you got to do is tow it down the road on a fucking tank and then fly it to Cape Canaveral, wherever it is. Absolute nonsense. But all of this, energy aside, was done at such quick pacing that you did not care about the characters. And like Jonesy said, these characters were just not given enough screen time for me to give a shit about them. They were just random B story characters given one line to say, and we're meant to care. It was awful in that sense. And that's why I really did not care about anything that happened in the film. I just did not care about the characters. And so for me, everybody was wasted. I too like Patrick Wilson. I thought he was probably the only person, a bit like Ewan McGregor in the Star Wars prequels. He was the one that seemed to be making some sort of effort with the shitty script he was given and gave some sort of value to his character. Halle Berry tried, but I don't think she was given the best lines. It was awful. Honestly, I can't express how awful it was. But that quick cut stuff to move the plot along did not work. It worked in Armageddon. It did not work in this film at all.
I think one of the other things that bugged me about this, and I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, what I felt about the exchange student, Michelle. So Kelly Yu struck me as a character just like in Independence Day 2, where it's like, hey, we got to get the Chinese audience on board. So let's just put this character in here. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like pander. And I get if, hey, this is the best actor. This is the best, like, whatever for this role. This is what we want to do with this character. That part aside, having seen it once in his last movie, I was keyed to not like it here. And
I was actually, when she appeared, slightly off kilter, but I see how you felt. When she appeared in the film, I actually thought, and kind of, I thought that was very interesting, turned out not to be true. I actually thought it was Halle Berry's wife, husband, whatever you want, partner, because we had no cue of the marriage apart from the opening scene. I was at your wedding and we danced. And then there she was in the house with this fully grown woman handing her a cup of coffee. And I thought, oh, so they're in a lesbian relationship, and that's it. And then they have a son. But no, she was the Chinese exchange student or Chinese exchange student, even though she was clearly a fully grown adult, or at least I got the impression she was. Just so we could have a scene later where the kid could speak Chinese and bamboozle the robbers. Yeah, but sorry, I interrupted your point, which was more interesting.
I knew that she wasn't married. There were little things that they put in that scene so you knew what was happening, because when she rolls over, she picks up the phone, she picks up with her left hand. There's no wedding ring. You also had that time. Okay. Yeah. So there's a time jump. So in a time jump, you're like, okay, what's different? No ring, kid's older. Okay, she goes downstairs. If she's not married and there's a kid and she's about to leave, that means the person that's downstairs is the exchange student that's just staying in her house and giving her childcare.
Gotcha.
So like those are the things that I used to put that together. But yeah, I did not feel like it was value add for any other reason than to get folks in China to watch this movie. And I
because they also referenced how China was helping us out by donating a rocket and donating tech and stuff like that. Our friends in China are helping us out, suddenly able to get millions of tons of tech the other side of the planet, even though in 3 hours time the moon's going to crash,
and
etc.
Given the shit that they're doing in Hong Kong and given the human rights violations and all of the bullshit that they're doing, like someone in my head was like, fuck you. And very close second to that was John Bradley all over Elon Musk. That irritated the shit out of me.
Yes, SpaceX, yes.
So like all of his little references and all of like, I get it. It's a
just
cult of
watching
personality
face, even though he's muted. Sorry.
Yeah, I did not care for those things. I was more interested in some of the concepts that they did in space. I was actually oddly curious what, if anything, would happen with a sequel, because they clearly set one up.
Moonrise.
No, like, so getting back to kind of the discussion we were having before. So the plot is basically this: the moon is being attacked by a nanomachine AI that was created by our forefathers, who are like light years away. The moon is a superstructure that is basically seeded the planet with the DNA of our ancestors. And so inside of it is their old tech. Yeah, I think that stuff is cool. And you actually get a flashback of seeing like what their society was like and also the stuff and like what happened. There's exposition that is weirdly done. But you get some of that explanation of how and why it came to be. And so within that, they set up the idea of like, okay, now we've got to get started. And you're like, get started doing what? And then the movie ends. And so the earth is basically decimated at the end of the movie. And you know that somehow, some way, humans are probably going to have to leave. And they're going to likely do it on the moon, which is a giant Dyson sphere / spaceship.
They ended it like the end of Halo. They
ended it like the end of the last Independence Day.
Yeah.
We're going to
like
bring
the
exact same them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have some not box office numbers, but predictions.
Wait, I had a question for Danny. I know you didn't like the movie. Did any of those concepts make you slightly curious what they might do next?
I'm hesitating to answer because the only time I was actually mildly interested is when we did have the exposition when I've forgotten the actor's name. Yeah, the flat. Patrick when Wilson. he was unconscious and they connected with him, they did a mind meld and showed him the past. Right, that bit was actually quite interesting to me. The reason why I hesitated answering is unfortunately too much bad mojo has been given to me to give a shit about what they do next. I really don't care. I hope they don't make another sequel or another film with this. I really don't. However, to your point, that bit was interesting to me. I'm often fascinated by the origins of everything. And to have that concept thrown in was interesting. I don't believe a word of it, but it was the most interesting part about this film for sure. 100%. Yeah.
You know what's funny to me? I will bet you almost 100% that this was the subplot to the sequel to Independence Day. That some of what we saw probably he grifted from his own stuff. He was like, all right, fine. I'm not going to get to make Independence Day 3. I'm going to see that same stuff in here.
Yeah.
Because those aliens show up at the end, and I'm willing to bet that was part of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I really do, and really do wish that someone had gone over the script and the character stuff, because then all of a sudden stuff would have been interesting. But unfortunately, it throws me right out of it. But you're right, that was the most interesting part of it, and it happened in the last 30 minutes of the film, maybe not, maybe the last 15, maybe 20 at a push. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's definitely a thumbs down for me, Jonesy. I don't know if we're going to move on to would I recommend it. I know Nick had some. Yeah, no, it's definitely a thumbs down for me. Well, I'm glad we watched it.
Let her grade. Let her grade.
Huh?
Let her grade it.
Let her grade.
Oh, well, what's the lowest we can go? F? Can we fail it?
Yeah, you can
F minus if you really want.
You can do whatever you want, baby. You can give it a Z.
I would absolutely fail this film as for everything it tried to be and what then it ended up being on the screen. Absolute fail. Awful film. Awful.
C. I'm gonna give it a C.
F for fucking awful. There you go.
You said C like you were agreeing, but you gave it a C. That seems very generous, but I haven't seen it.
It does. I can't believe, Jonesy, we're gonna have to talk about that because I'm sure you've given films C's before that were so much better than this.
He has. He's given C's that I thought that I agreed they were that rating, but I'm like, yeah,
because a lot of it is expectation, and I knew what I was getting out of this, and given what I did get out of it, and again, it really just came down to those core 3 folks. I liked them, and I liked the backstory and the origin and all of those stuff. It was fine. Like C is fine. C is average, right? Like it's not something to write home about. Like you passed barely.
I mean, I think a D is passing barely.
No, you get it. So it depends on where you are.
School,
I was gonna say it depends on where you are in school. You get a D, you get kicked out of school.
Do you?
So this is the lowest grade you can get and continue.
You don't get a D. You don't get kicked out with D's.
No, but like in college, they'll take away scholarships.
I'm talking about high school. I'm talking about high school.
Kick you out for F's.
They don't kick you out for D's. Are you talking about college? Talking about higher education?
I think you're talking about DUIs. You get kicked out for that.
Okay, if you're talking about college, then okay, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't
at very least they take away your scholarship. They'll take away your
scholarships.
Yeah. If you have them.
No, you get on academic probation and they will put you out.
I don't know. I've never
depends on the school.
I've never gotten a D.
College.
I mean, so another way of answering your question, Danny, is this. I really did not like the second Independence Day. And part of that was they fucking killed Will Smith in the opening crawl. And it was like, for all of the things that I liked about the first one, he was a huge one. And so if I walk into that movie, like up here, and for the people listening, I'm holding my hand above my head, excited to see what they're going to do. And they're like, yeah, that thing you liked about the first movie, we've killed it. We've killed Will Smith and his charm. Like, okay, well, now I have to sit through the rest of this 2.5 fucking hour movie thinking how you murdered somebody off screen.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, fuck you. And so I think that
didn't you know going into it that he wasn't?
Yeah, you do know that. I think he's
you knew that he wasn't going to be
crawl.
in it. Yeah, you knew that he wasn't going to be in it. How they handled it was like, that's kind of shitty.
He died in between movies. That's the little title on it. And it's like, now let's go see some Jeff Goldblum to cheer you up.
Now here's his adoptive son, like doing something. Like, I don't give a fuck about this kid. Fucking.
So imagine, Jonesy, if Patrick Wilson's character would have died in that opening space shuttle gambit at the beginning,
and all we had was Sonny.
He was just in the trailers just to get us all interested in it, but he died in the first 15 minutes.
You guys see Executive Decision? That's that movie. You all seen that?
Yes, that's it. With Steven Seagal wiped out.
Yeah, but oddly enough, that worked. I was okay with that.
Well, it was Steven Seagal. Hopefully they'll do that with Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious 9 or 10 or whatever.
Listen to Jason Momoa. Reduce him, and then it's like.
But yeah, that's it. You guys ready to do some Who Watches for a few minutes?
I actually have a question for Danny, and I want to
prolonging this conversation. Okay,
numbers.
What? Yeah, what are you doing? What?
Okay, fine. I won't give you that.
No, Nick, go for it.
Okay,
no, I just
first I want to ask Danny if he would see Moonrise if it was a Lego movie entirely.
Yeah, because Lego's awesome.
Okay. And the other part, these are projections from Box Office Pro, written earlier this week before reviews from Moonfall even came out. They're expecting it to perform around 2017's Geostorm, which made $13.7 million. That's opening day. And
Just
Jackass
awesome.
is set to be lower than the other ones, but even Bad Grandpa, which would have technically been the last Jackass movie, made $32.1 million opening weekend. And the Jackass movies make an average of 400 to 500 million in their total run, the past Jackass movies. So I do expect Moonfall. I don't expect Moonfall 2 because I do expect the moon to fall below Jackass.
How many
all I
people in
got.
your theater, Danny? 3?
3.
And it
Are
was
you
an
one of those
IMAX.
3?
Yeah,
Are you
I
one
was
of
the
the three?
first
Yeah.
IMAX showing, and I was one of the 3.
You
I was
were
this
in
one.
IMAX. Oh,
3 for your
Same.
same for you.
Same.
Honestly,
3.
Yeah.
when I bought tickets when I was gonna go, which was like Tuesday, there were already 10 tickets sold at the Alamo Draft House.
Dude, people were all about that moon. I'm so happy I didn't see this. I
Me
would have been so
too.
pissed
I'm
off
happy
if
I
I
didn't.
stayed up
for
late
you
for
that you
that.
didn't jam it. I'm pleased. Jonesy and I took 2 for the team.
Thanks, guys.
You really did. You guys fucking got your heads blown off for us.
I think it was
Never
that bad.
seen Danny so
Like, it
upset.
wasn't so bad that I wasn't like if this had been Venom, I'd been like, fuck this. I don't want to even podcast.
I gave Venom.
Like, that's-
I still haven't seen that. I still haven't seen the second Venom
You,
film.
oh man,
Me
please
neither.
watch it.
I'm actually
Please
gonna
watch
watch it. We're excited. We're waiting for it. We're
It's
waiting.
just
I don't know why we're
It's,
waiting.
it's not streaming.
Yeah.
It's gotta be streaming.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm
Not
not
for
gonna
free
pay
yet.
for it.
You can rent it, and there's no way it's streaming for free yet. It just came out.
I
Last
mean, maybe I'll rent it
October.
for $3. We'll see
Should've
when it
been
gets
free
to like
the
3 or
first
4
time.
bucks.
Yeah, you should be able to rent it for $4, $3.99 or whatever.
No, usually I think at this point it's like $5.99 still. So we got to wait a little bit longer.
Wait a few more months.
Until they pay you.
I'll share my. Oh, wait, no, I don't want it.
No, because it goes from $5.99 to like $3.99.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
This is how generational wealth works. I want to make sure my animals inherit wealth, and to do that, I need to wait for shitty movies to actually come out under cheap rental periods or streaming services for free. This is how I live my life.
Oakley Dokley. So you guys want to do Who Watches, right? Because I think while only 2 of us saw Moonfall, all of us have seen Mandalorian 2.5.
Yeah. We're just doing
Or
that, right?
3.5.
I don't want to talk about other shows. I think we just should have had a Boba Fett section anyway. So yeah.
Sure, I agree.
Like we're
Sure,
not
not.
bringing up other stuff. We're just doing Boba Fett, which is what I thought we should do.
Let's
from
do-
the
yeah.
beginning, right? I have
Yeah.
other shows I've seen
Yeah,
this week
sure.
too, but let's just do Boba.
All right, Boba it is.
You're gonna keep saying it?
Yeah, let's
What
stick
should we
to
do
just
next
doing
week? What are we
Boba
gonna do?
this
Nobody's giving you
week.
pushback. Nobody's giving you pushback. You're like, we're only doing this, right? Like,
Right, guys? Right.
I think we should only do Boba Fett.
Yeah, I think we should only do Boba Fett and
What
not
about
bring in
Nightmare
other
Alley?
ones.
You get so
Or
excited
Nightmare
you smack
Ally,
the
as Nick calls
microphone.
it.
Freaking
I just
domestic
can't
violence to your
spell.
microphone.
I know. I keep hitting it. I'm so excited.
Anyway,
Danny's the
so-
only one that heard that.
What did Danny say? What did you say? Who said what?
Yeah,
I'm
I
happy to
said
listen to this episode to hear what you said.
Yeah, it'll boost our numbers. Go ahead and do that.
Damn it.
It's killing me. So,
So the Book of Boba Fett.
penultimate episode. What is it called? The Man from the Desert. So what's it called?
A little more complicated than that. But
It's
I'm not
called.
sure.
It's called
From the
it's
Desert
called
of Figure
The girl.
Fears.
The girl
There we go.
across the street from the woman in the window.
I still love that name.
That's what it's called.
So we've got, like I said, the penultimate episode, and from the desert, a stranger comes, or comes a stranger. I don't like
this stranger comes.
I don't like any of that phrasing, but let's roll with it.
Phrasing.
We got a few surprises in this episode. We've got Ahsoka coming back, played by Rosario Dawson. We also got Luke coming back, and we got to see him building his Jedi temple, and this will eventually be the Jedi temple that gets destroyed in The Last Jedi, or that we see destroyed in The Last Jedi. And we also got Cad Bane, which is the character that I think most people who saw this episode were the most excited for, and who is referenced by the stranger coming. So
It's funny. The one that excited me the most is the one you didn't list. I was so
Grogu?
happy to see. Is Corb Vanth the character's name?
Cobb.
Cobb
Cobb
Fantastic.
Vanth.
Cobb Vanth. When he came, he was there with like the gunslinging at the beginning. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And then the other ones got more and more exciting. But I was squealing from the first scene in the show. So
yeah, I guess the only reason why I didn't mention him is because Luke, I don't think we expected to see him again or so soon. I think after last week's episode, we anticipated it. Ahsoka, I don't think we had any reason to think was going to be coming back. And then Cad Bane, like, not at all.
I don't
So-
I
know.
didn't think
Yeah,
Skywalker would be back either, because didn't a lot of us assume they wouldn't spend an entire
that.
episode? Okay.
he just said that. Yeah. Remember, it's
Um,
Ronald Emmerich.
Roland
Sorry,
Emmerich.
Nick.
So let's start with Danny, because as someone who has watched, I think you're the only other person on here that has watched all of the animated stuff and all of the movies.
Yeah.
Did you like scream? Did you throw something on the TV? Like, no, you couldn't have thrown something on the TV. Like, tell me about your level of excitement seeing Cad Bane.
I
on the
honestly, I was much more excited. I wasn't, as we just discussed briefly. I don't think seeing Luke and Ahsoka and Cad Bane in this episode, where most of us thought we were going to see Boba Fett for a change. So all of it was like this wow moment. But I have to say, as good as Luke looked and sounded, etc., that the FX on that were just phenomenal. It could have well have been Mark Hamill 30, 40 years ago, whatever it was by now. But when the way they introduced Cad Bane at the end, the way that he came into the show and the way he looked, regardless of what some have said about being different from the cartoon, well, they're all different from the cartoon, for fuck's sake. But the fact that they did translate him so well, and his introduction as the badass, I thought that was this is fucking awesome bit, more than the Luke stuff, as much as I enjoyed that. So of the three characters that we saw, again, it would definitely be Cad Bane first, Ahsoka second, and Luke last, should we say, as the shock ones. But I love the way they introduced him. Not just that we got him, but the way they brought him in too. If you're not familiar with him, instantly, holy shit, this guy is not someone to fuck around with. And I like that, really like that, because now you've got this there's a bounty hunter that deserves a bit of a reputation if you've never seen him before. If you've seen the cartoons, we kind of know, but if this is your first iteration, compare that to our introduction to Boba Fett in Empire, etc. Now, this is a bounty hunter you should be fucking scared of.
Yeah.
Loved it. Looked great.
And I think what I liked about what they're doing here, so not only is Boba Fett and the Mandalorian seem to be just like an on-ramp to bringing in folks from the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch and whatever, we are going to get the end of a story that we missed. So there were deleted scenes basically from the canceled season of Clone Wars, where you got to see the final standoff between Boba Fett and Cad Bane. And so the dent in Boba Fett's helmet is supposedly from that duel. And that's what that line comes from. You should have kept that armor, because that's what saved that other fucker. You got nothing.
That's so cool.
And I like getting to see, like, while it's disappointing that we didn't get to see it in the show, because I think the eventual duel between Boba Fett and Cad Bane would have had more impact. I'm so glad that we're going.
I was just going to say the same thing. Flashbacks.
Maybe
flashbacks could be a possibility.
I just don't think that it hits. It won't impact me as much. And I'll tell you why. This is why. Supposedly the story for that episode and what caused their falling out is some of what we're seeing now. So everybody knows at this point that Dave Filoni is the person who is the mastermind behind all of that stuff and is also behind the scenes on this. The argument that they had was Boba Fett decided that he was going to protect this group of folks that were being done wrong. And Cad Bane was like, no, we have a job to do. And that's what sets up the duel. And so you take that and translate it into what they're doing with Boba Fett now, what a lot of people had problems with. It's like, well, what's this bounty hunter with a heart of gold bullshit? And you get to see that he was kind of always that person. And so we missed that setup. And I think that it would have, like I said, for me, it would have been more impactful with that backstory walking into a duel with the two of them. That's me.
So they used to work together.
Yes. So in the Clone Wars cartoons, you get to see how, as a kid, he and Boba Fett and Cad Bane hooked up, and he was kind of.
Oh no, that's just odd, because it was as a kid. It was as the age he was in Attack of the Clones. It's that age kid, isn't he, Jonesy? Or maybe a year or two older.
Yeah, basically, it's right after he picks up his dad's head off the desert sand. So good on you for being a jerk. Like, his dad's dead. Cad
Bane and his little group of bounty hunters, they kind of take Boba under their wing, don't they? And even though he kind of leads them at some point, they're all a little team of bounty hunters. But he's just a kid.
Yep. And so you get to see like the development of this basically mentor-mentee relationship. And to Danny's point about, there is somebody who deserved that reputation, you would at least have gotten to see how Boba Fett then took that over, because he was the heir apparent based on that relationship. So there's
we
that.
can still see it. We can still see it. It's not too late in flashback form. It can happen.
I don't
season
think you're
2.
wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I just think that it is, for me, it would have been more impactful had I seen it already.
Yeah.
That's-
We're more likely
that's
now
all.
to get Cad Bane say something about, remember last time I shot you, and Boba to touch that part of the helmet and say, yeah, I remember, or something like that as a small reference to it without actually showing us that scene.
I remember. You
Yeah.
failed.
What's I don't think, slightly off it, but I can't remember the name of the character, Timothy Oliphant's character.
Cobb Vanth.
Not bad.
Yeah, I don't think he's dead, right? And
No,
I
no,
don't
he's
want-
not.
No,
I thought he
Yeah,
was at
yeah.
first, but
Now,
He got
and what I love
shattered.
about that scene is
He shot him in the shoulder, but then
Yeah.
pumped the other guy through about 10 shots.
Yes.
That's where I was like, that's fucking sweet.
that's what I
mean,
loved was they all ran to Cobb Vanth and they're like, get the stim pack, get this. We need to help him. Like fucking
Fuck this other
deputies.
guy.
the other guy is so dead though. The other guy is like
Yeah, we did see him
back to
shooting
We always
take him,
hated
save
him.
him. Plus, he was an idiot. He's one who got Cobb shot in the first place.
he
I think he
reminded
was
me
gonna
of
shoot him anyway.
He reminded me of X-Men. Who the hell's that guy from X-Men?
Oh, Nightcrawler.
No.
Oh, I thought you were saying the
Yeah, who reminded you of who?
yeah.
the deputy guy. He kind of like, at first I saw him and I was like, is that what is it? Cyclops. What the hell's his name?
He reminds you of James Marsden.
Yeah.
What?
They don't look anything
James
alike.
Marsden. I'm sorry, they look like to me.
No, he doesn't look anything like him. James Marsden almost looks like he walked out of that movie now. He looks great.
Yeah,
As weird as
Okay.
that sounds to say, like,
like you watch Sonic.
James
Like,
Marsden always
good on
looks
you.
like a Gap advert. He always looks immaculate.
that's what I'm saying. Like, he looks amazing. Like, I would never have
Yeah.
confused that scruffy looking nerf herder deputy for James Marsden. So
I guess this guarantees that town now in the fight, right? If ever there was
Yeah.
any maybe
Oh, yeah.
going to join in or not, Cad Bane
It's
just
gonna
now
keep-
said, right, that's pissed off the
All
marshal.
5 of them. All
and
5 of
it's
them are
gonna
going to
keep
fight.
him out because the minute he sees Boba Fett and he's like, "Oh, I had that armor," Boba Fett's gonna kill him because he's like, "Who the fuck had my armor?" So that way they
why
can
does it
write
smell
him
like that in
out.
here?
They can write him out of having to meet him. It's like the jokes people were like, "Okay, I'll help you, but first I need to go off and." No, it's like, "Hey, Luke Skywalker, I have to go back and help my friend Boba Fett." And Luke Skywalker would be
He's
like,
very
"What?"
much alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Who?
that way they can rally the town because they feel attacked, but keep
He's
Cobb
like-
away from Fett.
It's like
Um,
Boba or Din Djarin, you told me that there would be like an army. There's like 10 people in this town. This town is
There were
so
a lot
small.
more than that, unless half. I can't remember. Did all of them get killed by the Crate Dragon except for like?
But
10.
it's so small. I don't know where they fit them. Like I don't know
They're
where
foot
they're hiding.
soldiers.
No,
I
what?
don't know.
No, I'm talking about the houses that they live in. Where the
Yeah, I
houses
know.
at?
It's probably
Yeah.
ranches and stuff.
Moisture
The last-
farms.
Moisture farms.
Aunt Beru. They're all in
The
little
last thing
moisture
that I
farms
have
spread out.
about this episode that made me wonder, like start thinking beyond the episode. If Bane is in this episode, and I don't think this is going to happen in this episode, that means he's still alive. Phoenix Shand and he
Mhm.
got into a tussle in the Bad Batch over
Yeah.
Omega. And so
Yeah.
now that makes me wonder, is she eventually going to show up as well? Omega.
I think
and-
Omega's definitely going to be in a show at some point.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Oh, why
this
are
one,
they bringing in
Ahsoka,
animated
yeah.
shit? I don't want to have to watch the animated shows.
That's
I really
all,
don't like them.
and that so you missed it. That's exactly what I said. All of this live action stuff is just now an on ramp for all of Filoni's shit.
That's such bullshit.
Yeah.
No, really quick. I do also want to make sure I give credit where credit is due because these past 2 episodes have ultimately proven what S at Elram Online said back in June 15th of 2020, that effectively all of these Star Wars shows, Obi-Wan Kenobi's and Cassian Andor shows notwithstanding, will be essentially Game of Thrones in style, where instead of like Game of Thrones, it would be as if each house has its own show and they kind of crisscross and intertwine with each other in that way. These past 2 episodes of The Mandalorian heavy focus. Are they going to crisscross? They're going to split off into The Mandalorian season 2 or season 3, I'm sure. And then you're going to have Boba Fett probably continue with his own fucking
And
thing.
you
and
have
I'm sure we're gonna
Ahsoka set up,
as
where she's like, "See you
Ahsoka
later,
set up
Luke."
for her show. You have Ezra and Thrawn going to come up with this show, and they're all going to crisscross and commingle and run in all out their each other's shows. Which is why this was effectively, a setup for season 3 of The Mandalorian. So they're different titles, different shows, but effectively the same show.
Yeah, you're right. So then to what you just said, does that mean that Obi-Wan somehow feeds into this?
No,
I just said Obi-Wan's and Cassian Andor is notwithstanding. Like there are some that will be separate.
Oh, no, okay.
But there's a bunch
Cassian
of
or Cassian?
Cassian.
Whatever.
Cassian.
What do you mean, whatever?
Cassian.
Every time I say a name wrong, you jump all over my.
Well, that's a fictional name, completely different.
I think Obi-Wan will have connections with him being on Tatooine. I think there will be some, and obviously it's past, but I think there will be some connections. I don't know what they are. They may well be loose and tenuous, but I think they will link all of them, even the flashback Cassian Andor and Obi-Wan shows. I honestly think they will.
I don't know how they would,
but bring in characters from the animated shows.
But anyways, it's frustrating. Apparently, we broke this about a year and a half ago, and
repost that shit now.
Yeah, well, apparently we've been doing that, and they're like, I was like, oh, this was obvious, and I'm like, bitch, this came out before Mandalorian season 1. Fuck off. This is like new. This was new information.
I didn't realize it was that far back before Mando 1.
I think you brought this up before, and my reaction was, I don't like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you're right.
I was like, I don't care. I don't like Game of Thrones. Yes, I'm eating my words now.
Okay, so I'm wrong. It wasn't before Mandalorian. I think it was following season 1.
Which makes more
sense.
No.
At that point, it seems pretty obvious, Jammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And literally, we labeled there's going to be Mandalorian, Ahsoka Tano, a Boba Fett show, and an Ezra Bridger / Admiral Thrawn, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
I don't want that.
I'm just saying it's going to happen. Just
no.
prepared.
I'm reacting to the Ezra Bridger, because given who's been cast as Ezra Bridger, I don't want
Aladdin,
to see it.
Right? Yeah.
Mena Masood.
Yeah. Gave him a second chance.
Wow, I've only just finished watching Rebels, so I didn't know that they had cast Ezra already.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Who is it? The guy that was in
Did you see Aladdin? Yeah.
You're obviously talking about the Guy Ritchie one, right? The most recent
Guy Ritchie.
The live action
wow.
version.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he looks the part.
Sure he does. I'm excited about Thrawn. I'm not excited about him.
Okay, no.
So I have things to say. I'll keep it very short about Boba Fett. Loved it. Like I said, I squealed basically every time a character showed up, except for at the end. I didn't know enough about him.
As somebody who said he doesn't want to actually see all the predictable things in Star Wars, how
flippity floppity.
Yeah, I mean, Danny's been making fun of me all week, and since last week where I said I liked the stuff they were doing. I'm completely turned around on it now. Like, I think it's
very much, did it?
No, like, I didn't think we'd see Luke Skywalker again.
Just like, one good episode.
Took less than a month later, completely turned. Well, they showed me what I wanted to see.
Yeah,
so
this episode
I want to see
felt like Spider-Verse.
Like Jedi Nick Doll.
I mean, not Spider-Verse. This episode felt like
shows up with cookies, and he's just like, you know what?
Sorry, guys.
Seems all right.
I'm rethinking cookies.
Yeah.
My
cookies and green milk or whatever.
You got any blue milk? You got any of that blue milk over there? You know what? This Jedi Temple shit.
What was I going to say? Now you guys are interrupting me. I usually interrupt you guys.
Lightsaber's going blue, red, no blue, red, blue, no, red, blue.
I tell you, I will lose my shit the second we get a lightsaber that is clear and that turns a color like they did in the anime. I will be on board for that. That's all I have to say. Continue, Nick.
God, if I can remember. It felt like No Way Home in a TV episode where it's like, yes, there are giant faults in it, but like every 5 minutes it gave me something I thought was so cool that I didn't think about the weaknesses of the episode. Except for the scene with Boba Fett, which was like just boring and stupid, where he's like, we're gonna attack. I do like the mayor's assistant as a character, but he was the best part of that scene. And also he's like, this guy's the Mandalorian.
I'm sorry, but it's so funny to me.
What?
You're really funny to me. Well, I'm sorry. I have to just like hear like
I can't change my opinion.
No, but it's just funny. It's like what changed my opinion is that they did it a lot and continuously throughout the episode. That's literally
they jammed it down my throat. They jammed it down my throat until I accepted it.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
I didn't mean it like in a dirty way. That's not what it always means.
I'm sorry, you didn't mean that in a dirty way?
No,
Holy shit.
I know it is.
Okay.
It's not just a dirty saying, but as I continued to say it, I meant it in a dirty way. Is it really a dirty saying? I'm saying this since I was a kid.
I mean, Jan by your throat, but you kind of took it to the next level.
No, I did. When I
expression.
repeated it, I was getting into the dirty territory. But
No, you're right. The rest, the general saying, it does not have the same negative context.
But yeah, I don't know. I've been impressed with the last 2 weeks. Star Wars will continue to bore me sometimes and excite me other times. Like I've realized all the modern day Fett stuff is pretty boring, whereas the flashbacks were fascinating and these little meandering stories are fascinating.
Yeah, I've always appreciated. And I said this after the first 2 or 3 episodes, where I actually enjoy Boba Fett as a character. I enjoy his mission and the idea that they're going forward. It's kind of like a crime lord, taking over and his rise to power. And I could see this happening for a few, like 4 to 5 seasons, to be perfectly honest. I could definitely see that happening because like him gaining incremental power in certain territories and slowly growing outwards. I think that's a pretty cool story. They haven't exactly nailed the execution completely, but I've been entertained thoroughly throughout. I like it more than I like The Mandalorian, even before The Mandalorian came in. And those episodes were great as well. And
I feel like I have the same. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, go ahead. You can continue.
I have the same criticism of Timur Morrison that I think some people had of Carl Weathers. Like, I feel like he is not acting that great. And I don't think that they're doing that well, like making him even repeating what everyone else says. I enjoy The Mandalorian as a character more than I do Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're saying in terms of what they're doing with him, is like what his mission, his vision, and his goals are. That's laudable. That I enjoy, that I like. But as far as the execution goes, and Timur Morrison as the lead does nothing for me. Like bland as bland could be.
I do also wonder how the hell they're going to wrap any of this up in one episode.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, right?
Because instead of building up to it, they've gone a different direction for 2 episodes. And now it's like they have an entire battle and sending, like, it doesn't need to end completely, but like there has to be some kind of resolution, not just like to be continued. If we decide
I guess
unless it ends in a different show. Like if
the Spice Runners story will end in some way, but it's just a matter of how the rest of the pieces will continue off. So we'll be like that aspect. Honestly, the part of the story that I feel like most people are least interested in will get resolved, but then they'll have the other stuff that people are more interested in won't get resolved.
Like the other families
Grogu
or
completely,
or whatever,
or what other families.
Well, I'm just like, they'll maybe get rid of the Pikes, but he still won't be in charge because they never struck all the other like mob families,
the other crime
people who control different
families,
parts of the. I meant families in like the mob way.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think there's room for this show to be 4 to 5 seasons, and same with Mandalorian to continue to 4 to 5 seasons, them intertwine. I don't know what they have planned for the other shows, but I've liked it all so far quite a bit. I don't agree with like the criticism that like the best episodes were Mandalorian, but I mean, because for me, it's all just one show at this point. All of these are like one show, and it's just kind of like the different little arcs that we have throughout. And that's more and more in my head what I'm considering these Star Wars shows as.
Now, like if someone joked, this is a Star Wars show or whatever.
Yeah, it's just like Star Wars show.
It's like hey, there's Luke and there's
and it's like it's the Mandalorian
matter if it's
arc.
called Boba Fett. It's just the Star Wars show.
Yeah.
Just the past 2 episodes.
I agree. And
as a whole, we did spend most of the time with Fett.
Like I get what you all are saying, but if you have a Star Trek show called Deep Space Nine and you spend an entire episode on Dr. Bashir, nobody cares. It's weird that you have a show called Boba Fett that spends 2 episodes and Boba Fett is in 10 seconds. I'm not upset about it. I don't really care, but I do understand the criticism. Star Trek Enterprise. I guess you've got an entire episode about Archer. No one cares.
It's a little different though. They have long seasons. This is a 7-season show. I mean, it's 7 episode. I mean, they've.
But the issue that I'm pointing out is that you have a thing named after somebody that's barely in it. When you have a show that has a name that is a ship or a space station or whatever,
I'm actually agreeing.
No one cares. Yeah,
he's agreeing with you. It actually reinforces your point.
For some reason, I thought he meant that he doesn't mind it when other shows do it. I missed the title part.
No, I'm saying that that's it.
Well, if it's a book about Fett, there are chapters about other characters every once in a while. It's like a real book. That's why they called it book rather than just calling it the Boba Fett. You had to give it like that
That's
extra little.
I'll go with
That's
that.
a fair thought. I
I'll roll with that.
too.
Fixed it.
I don't like I said, I get your criticism, but at the same time, for me, I don't. If it's good and it works together, I don't care.
It's not really
Do
so. It's
care.
not my criticism. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I'm just saying I understand because I think somebody said like people are criticizing. It's like,
But I think
but I
people,
understand
yeah.
their perspective.
I mean, I guess they need to find shit to criticize. So it's just like, well, that episode was good. Boba Fett wasn't in it. There we go. There's our criticism for the week.
I mostly
just
found
Like we
that
just
people
need
joke
Nick
it.
Dahl to
episode
tell
of
everybody
Enjoy.
that it's just a different chapter because I think that makes sense.
I don't know. I thought even the fans of the other stuff were kind of being jokey about stuff like that. Like I've seen this meme way too many times, but some meme were like, "Oh, did you catch the Boba Fett cameo in Book of Boba Fett?"
Yeah.
Already hard.
Yeah, I've
It's
seen
like-
it
it's
like
not-
1,000 fucking.
It's not that original.
accounts
It's like I feel like
Wednesday.
it's
No, I know,
whenever
but
people-
like
whenever people
everyone who
finish
posts it
I feel like
thinks
they
it
think I feel like they think they're super original. They're like, oh well, it's a shame that the best episode of Book of Boba Fett didn't have Boba Fett in it. Aren't I clever? Aren't I just so smart to have realized that? I'm the only one who realized that, right?
I did make a similar version of that joke.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, ironically, the best episode of Boba Fett doesn't have him in it.
It's just like it's the most obvious thing to say, and everyone's acting like it's some wonderful insight. And I'm like, it's
Thanks,
it's
Hammer.
not. You're welcome, Nick.
I love that after he said it, you're just like one more. Just gonna get one more dig in there. Anything else?
That
Anything else to say about
That wasn't
Book
an
of Boba Fett?
intentional dig, to be clear.
I'm not.
That
kinda
comment,
felt
no,
like it.
no, seriously, no, it wasn't, because that comment was so prevalent online
Yeah.
that I was just in general. Like, so Nick, I didn't even know you.
Oh
actually
yeah,
made
no.
that comment.
I
or
mean,
I don't remember
the
it.
next part. So after he was like, "No, I've done that," and you were like, "Yeah. It's the most obvious thing you could say."
He
Nick.
said that
Like,
before too.
What?
Before, yeah. So
That wasn't a dig at you, Nick. It was just a
I
dig
know,
at
I know.
your perceived intelligence.
I'm
So,
a hack.
yeah.
What
You're
can
a-
I say?
I hate that word so much.
I know.
hate people
I'm
who use
using
that
it in
word
like the joke
so
stealing
much.
Who
way.
hurt you, Jammer?
People over. I know that.
I'm not using it in like the
film.
filmmaking way where it's like that
But it's-
director's a
it's
hack.
people say-
Anyway,
I hate people who say
I never
that.
use it
If
in
you
that
say
way.
that, you're a hack.
You guys ready to shut down? I've been ready to
Fuck
shut
you.
I'm
down.
ready to shut down. No,
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about you, Nick. I was just defending you. Jesus Christ.
My existence invites controversy. Like the Avengers or Batman. Anyway, my very existence invites controversy.
Escalation.
I just
Escalation.
imagine Nick looking at like the word Roland Emmerich and him going to the name "My existence invites controversy." It's like just the name Roland Emmerich,
You have to say it right, Imrish.
Ronald Emmerich.
Yeah, I'm ready to end the show.
Like I said, I've been ready. I've been ready. I'm ready whenever you guys are. All right. So, dear listener, if you like what you heard, and how could you not? Do all the socials, like, rate, comment, subscribe, share. We would definitely appreciate it. Also, LRM has other great stuff on the website as well as the Genreverse type YouTube channel. Jammer, where can you be found?
You can find me on Twitter at Jam the Writer, and all of my books under the name AJ Cerna on Amazon or Audible.
Danny, where can you be found?
You can find me writing a petition to have Ronald Emmerich direct the next Moonfall film.
And Nick, where can you be found?
I'm at Geeky Nick Dahl on Twitter. I do Marvel Multiverse Mayhem. Our next episode is going to be a commentary on X-Men Wolverine Origins, the best Deadpool and Wolverine film. And we're starting a Star Trek podcast soon because there's oodles and oodles.
What's it called?
We don't know yet. There have been some good suggestions from two of the men here on the podcast with me today, but we don't have a title yet.
Danny's were way better than mine. Mine was just like,
Some of yours were really silly. I thought of the USS podcast, but I was like, but Navy does USS too. It doesn't mean it's about Star Trek.
and you can find me on all the socials at Sir Jonesy's, or you can find me on the Xbox at Guyver V, killing people with Danny in Halo. Right? Anyway, folks, thanks for listening. We will catch you on the next one. Hasta lasagna.
Don't get any on ya.
Mission accomplished.
That was so lackluster.